So, you know how Fortnite has those big live events where everybody's friendly and just watches the event? What if I told you this kind of happened in Apex at one point, and since it happened, we've never had anything like that again? Well, some of you new Apex players may not know, but we used to have a lot of teasers in Apex, like little changes around the map that would hint towards a future map, a future legend, or a future update. Respawn actually started doing teasers back in Season 0, where they wanted to reveal Octane to players, so they came up with a genius plan of just placing an Octane jump pad at a point of interest in Kings Canyon and allowed players to play with it before Octane had even released. This was great, it generated loads of hype, it generated loads of theories, and people really enjoyed Respawn putting little teasers in the game. This would continue season to season, we would get little teasers hinting at the next legends, and even back in Season 4, we actually saw Loba in the lobby before she even released. And as well as that, another Loba teaser allowed us to enter a secret room on Kings Canyon that was only accessible to those doing the teaser. We used to get loads of these back in the day, and Respawn kept ramping them up. Like in Season 5, we got the infamous Ash teaser, which teased a lot more than Ash. To unlock this little playable mission teaser, we actually had to complete some PvE missions in game. Seriously, we used to have PvE, and after you completed these missions, you would unlock the final mission, where you went into a bunker and explored this brand new bunker, until you found Ash's body. While you were looking for Ash's body, she was actually saying a load of things which were references to future content, like she referenced Olympus 2 seasons before it came out, she referenced obviously her own release, she referenced some of Horizon's lore, she referenced Horizon. This was really cool, fans absolutely loved it, and it created tons of theories. The teasers wouldn't stop. In Season 6, we actually got a hint to the Olympus map releasing when off the coast of World's Edge and Kings Canyon, people could see this floating around, which turned out to be the Elysium point of interest on Olympus. Also in Season 6, we had teasers to Horizon where she would literally appear on a screen, and you had to do missions where you activated her tactical, so you could try out her tactical before she even released. Carrying on to Season 7, we had some teasers for Fuse, where in the final circles he would shoot bombs onto the map, which you could actually explode and use against enemies, and also a giant ship appeared over Kings Canyon that you could fly to, you could ping, the legends would comment on it, and it hinted at Fuse's lore, but also the Season 7 map changes, as in the cinematic, this ship will be shot down, crash into Kings Canyon, and become a new point of interest. A season later, in Season 8, at the end of the season, these ships appeared in the sky, which seemed to have some vines growing around them, which were a teaser for the Season 9 Olympus map update, where the ships would dock and spread the infection around Olympus. As well as that, in Season 8, we had teasers for the new Arenas mode, which was released in Season 9, where we would go around collecting tablets, and then eventually, after you hunted all of these things, it would unlock a ship in the firing range, where, when you jumped into the ship, you'll be taken to a whole new map, where you entered an elevator, went up the elevator, where you would see a spray paint teasing Seer several seasons before he released, and then we would see a giant ash head, which was teasing the release of Arenas in Season 9. At the back end of Season 9, we got some teasers for Seer where you could interact with his ultimate and it would activate and also show his abilities on a screen behind it, which was cool because players had to hunt for these items. And then at the back end of Season 10, we started getting teasers for the new map Storm Point in this pod on Olympus, where every week a new screenshot of Storm Point would be unveiled, which then takes us on to Season 11, where teasers peaked in Apex in my opinion, and we had a teaser that was probably the closest thing we're ever going to get to a live event in Apex, as on the run up to the end of Season 11, data miners started data mining that on the 21st of January 2022 there was going to be a dogfight above Storm Point. Data miners also found out the exact location it would take place and the exact time, 6 PM. So, on January the 21st at 6 PM, loads of people showed up to this exact position with no prompting from Respawn. They only knew to show up here because of tweets posted by data miners. And they waited around a bit, and eventually, above them, a ship fight was taking place, which was so awesome. During this time, nobody was fighting each other, they were just watching the event go by. Eventually, the ship fight ended with one ship being struck and going into a portal, and dropping its tail onto the ground, which players could then walk up to and just investigate. Everybody just stared at it, we were all friendly, and then we parted ways. It was a really crazy teaser actually, and it's a shame a lot of you might have not experienced this and won't be able to experience anything like this. Of course, this was a teaser for Mad Maggie as her logo was on the back of the ship, but this generated a lot of discussion of whether this was Mad Maggie, and to if Mad Maggie had died, or if Mad Maggie had gotten away, and if Mad Maggie was going to be the next legend. This was really cool, and we never really got an event like this again. After we all moved on to play on next games after this sequence, we realised this ship battle was playing at the start of every single game, which really quickly got really annoying, and it is kind of a shame that Respawn got so close with a live event, to the point where people essentially organised it themselves. Respawn didn't tell us the date and time and where to stand, just community members did, but they never cashed in on this, which is a shame. I expect they haven't really gone full into a live event because it probably puts massive pressure on the servers and takes a lot of work, but we kind of got a taste and it was sad we never saw anything like this again. And the worst part was, Respawn kind of winded down doing teasers after this. We don't really get teasers anymore, or at least teasers like the ones I described in this video. Now we mainly get our teasers through Twitter, like this whole season was teased through Twitter, season 23 was teased through Twitter, and I would imagine future seasons are going to be teased through Twitter as well. I think this is probably because it's easier to do, it causes less confusion to players who aren't in the loop, and it allows the teasers to be found in one place, but still, I think Respawn underestimate the amount of hype and theories they would generate from these teasers that took place in game. I would say the last major teaser we got was in season 14, where Respawn actually allowed us to tour a section of Broken Moon before it released, and then we haven't really had anything like that since then. In season 17, we did get the Kill Code single player mission, which was really cool, but it wasn't a teaser, it was kind of just like a story mission in Apex, which was still cool. The last teaser I can remember in Apex was back in season 20, where Alta's tail actually appeared in the lobby for a small amount of time, which obviously teased her release. And it's such a shame that Respawn stopped these. It seemed at one point they were trying to lean more into single player missions in Apex. They started this thing they called Apex Chronicles, and we only got one of them, basically where you played as Bloodhound, did a few missions, and then eventually you had a cool single player mission with a really cool sequence which gave us an idea into Bloodhound's lore. But they only did this once for some reason. I assume it's because not enough people cared about it. They did kind of try to push it heavily, they even gave these in-game stories their own names, Apex Chronicles, so I imagine they were going to do these for multiple legends, but that all seemingly got scrapped. I guess when Respawn really get down to it and look at the statistics for Apex, players don't care about teasers, which is why they've put them all on Twitter, so they can maybe put their effort elsewhere, but it does feel like a big part of the game has been lost, and also almost a whole side of YouTube where people would theorize about these has been lost as well. If we look over at the Apex lore subreddit, which would be a place where people discuss Apex lore and the lore implications of teasers, the posts per day have dropped off that much. The sub is essentially dead because there's just not enough lore going around. Although there is light at the end of the tunnel, because apparently this season we are going to be getting some sort of a teaser for the next legend, so I'm excited to see that. I would love to see a bigger scale one, but to be fair, if Respawn solely want to ramp up teasers again, I'm certainly not against it. But did you experience the teaser where everybody was friendly and just watched it happen, or do you just not care about this type of stuff? Anyway, subscribe.